very much po for confirming. Ayan, welcome po sa ating CBRC free public speaking training. Ayan. Okay. So now, first and foremost, let us now officially begin our event with the CBRC ecumenical prayer and also to be followed by the national anthem.
Let us feel the presence of our Almighty Creator through the gift of life that we continue to enjoy. Through the past, present, and the future that makes life wonderful. Heavenly God, we praise your omnipotence, we trust your omnipresence, and we believe in your loving heart. Grant that our hearts be filled with love, our heads be nurtured with wisdom, and our hands be molded to care as we journey through this life. May your blessing be showered upon our lives so that we may fulfill our mission to serve our life purpose, and so we may achieve our vision of becoming close to you. Make me an instrument of your love, a messenger of your peace, a steward of your creations, and a gift to humanity. Grant our wishes so that through them we become more equipped to serve you and others. Guide us, be with us, enlighten our minds, touch our hearts, and guide our hands. Bless our loved ones, our families, our world. All these we ask through our loving Creator. In the silence of our hearts, let us pray for our personal intentions. Amen.
Magiliw, perlas na silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulubig, di ka pasisikin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo baba, may nilalang tula at awit sa panglay minamahal. Ang istat kang patawat mo'y tagumpay na nagriningning, ang bituing ng araw niya kailan pa may mag-ibig. Lupa ng araw-araw, panin magsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Aming ligaya na pagkay mag-aakit, mamamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ayun, all right. So again, hello po everyone. Welcome po sa CBRC's free public speaking training. All the way from Manila, I am Ms. Sara Alcoreza, the moderator for this engagement. Actually, I'm very glad and excited to join you in this webinar dahil for sure, marami po tayong panibagong malalamang kaalaman with our discussants for today. So, by the way, for the information of everyone, this short training provides an in-depth guidance in doing public speaking through the discussion of the following topics. So first, preparing your speech. Ayan. Building confidence, overcoming stage fright, and also we will be learning about the strategies in becoming a great public speaker. And of course, we really appreciate your presence po here. And dahil mas gusto naming masulit ninyo ang time, hindi na tayo magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. Let's introduce our first discussant. Okay? He is both a registered nurse and a licensed professional teacher. He has been a national and international lecturer for teacher, civil service, and nurses examination review. He has been a trainer, speaker of the International Nurses Examination for Language Preparation Program in Jakarta, Indonesia. He is currently the Quality Improvement and Training Director of CBRC and the Editor-in-Chief of the Maestra Professional Journal. He has taught in all levels from the basic education to tertiary, both in education and nursing courses, including graduate school. He has been an English teacher to different nationalities from Asia for a decade now. He is the newly appointed Dean of the Romeo Padilla School of Education and Arts of the Pan-Pacific University and the Director for the CBRC Center for Lifelong Learning. He obtained his Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Administration and Supervision at Benguet State University in 2017 with his thesis, Teaching and Learning in the Graduate School. Meanwhile, he recently finished his PhD in Educational Leadership and Management with his dissertation titled School-Based Resilience Leadership Framework for Principals in Times of Disaster at the Philippine Normal University, Manila. With all that being said, please help me welcome Dr. Virgo C. Lopez. Hello po, Sir V.
Magandang hapon. Maraming salamat kay Sarah Alcareza. Ayan, so I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Let's maximize the reaction buttons available from your end. If you can hear me loud and clear, kindly give me a thumbs up, please. Ayan. Sige, sabay-sabay tayo. Kung ako po ay inyong naririnig, how about giving me a thumbs up? And then if you can hear me as well and I'm audible, how about typing the last word that I would say? Come on. Thank you. There you go. Very good. As I'm seeing from the screen, marami po tayong mga kabataan at talaga namang may mga leader po na may nakalagay SK and all. Now, let's begin this workshop or training with a quick glimpse of our participants this afternoon. Though this is online or virtual, it is but right for us to present ourselves in a formal way. Though kung saan man po kayo ngayon, please use the chat box and type the province or the city you are coming from. Naimbag nga malim kada kayo amin all the way here in Urdaneta City, Pangasinan. I'm here at Pan Pacific University. There you go. I'm seeing someone from Zamboanga, Occidental, Mindoro, Cebu, Batangas, Negros Occidental, Masbate, Bulacan, Cavite. I'm just running through the chat box. Ayan, meron ding taga-Tagig. May taga-Pangasinan. Ayan, so yung mga kasama ko po mga taga-Pangasinan, no? Malapit-lapit lamang ang ating destination. All right, so after that, I would like you to turn on your camera and then face the camera for me to see that you are ready. From the panel, let me just, add the spotlight for Miss Girly Itang. As you can see, she's really prepared with a smile, with her, that one for her microphone. And so her background is actually clean. So I hope everyone has this model. Let me find other individuals who are ready. Okay, let me just go over. Ayan, tignan natin kung meron pa akong makikitang pwede nating maging halimbawa. Oh, this one, Miss Bontia. I hope I pronounced that right. Is that Bontia? Boncha? Okay, you may unmute now.
Boncha, sir.
Boncha. Oh, diba? Napakainam ng iyong environment, hindi ba? So, pag ikaw ang makikinig kay Miss Tess, talagang sabi mo, pang-academic ito. So, these are just few Miss Tess and Miss Girly to be your model when it comes to preparing for your speeches to be delivered online. So can we give them a round of applause, please? I'm not saying they're the only ones, but in the panel, at least sila yung bigla kong nakita na talagang handa when it comes to their videos and when it comes to their background. So that's the first thing I would like to tell you, that once you are speaking, once you are facilitating, let's say, different speeches online, maganda na dapat tayo ay presentable at tayo naman talaga ay kitang-kita. Napapansin niyo po, may headroom kaming tatlo. As you can see, Ms. Tess ay hindi sagad yung kanyang ulo. So let's begin with that. I would like everyone to adjust accordingly your videos or your camera upang nang sa ganon hindi kayo putol. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga talaga namang hindi nakita. Kumbaga ito yung screen, mata mo na yung susunod. Okay? So aesthetically, it reinforces your speech. Okay? So that's the first thing. Thank you so much. And then let me now share from my screen my presentation. This is my PowerPoint. I would like to give you a heads up that a less than an hour of a discussion like this would not literally make you a public speaker. Or if you're a public speaker right now or a communicator, it would not actually make you one, because as we say, innovation and change do not happen overnight. So let's stick to that fact. However, at least kung ano man po yung makukuha natin dito ay dagdag syempre sa ating mga karanasan na meron na tayo. So I must say that I'm not the best when it comes to public speaking, though let me say this, that I learned from experience. So technically po, hindi po formal ang aking pag-aaral ng pakikipag-usap or pakikipagpanayam or let's say the public speaking. Instead, I'm coming from a personal experience na ibabahagi ko po ngayon. So I titled my presentation, The Art of Giving Power to Words. Now, from all of these words from my presentation, I would like you to use the chat box and type what word strikes you the most. Let me read again my presentation, Art of Giving Power to Words. Kung ikaw ay mamimili ng isang salita para sa pamagat ng aking presentasyon ngayong hapon, anong salita kaya ang masasabi mong kakaiba o kaya naman ito ay surprising and let's say emphasis of what are we going to do this afternoon? So some of you said art, some said power, and some said words. So para po tayo syempre ay talaga namang makaproceed, hold on, as the dean, medyo busy ang yung speaker. So can I just answer a call quickly? Thank you. Miss Sarah, quickly lang.
Yes po, Sir V. Okay. Ayan. And while you are chatting, ayan, pwede ko rin bang maitanong kung ano po ang mga expectations natin ngayon sa ating workshop, short training sa ating hapon ngayon. Ayan. Most of you are saying power, ang talagang nakaka-striking na word sa inyo. Ayan. Also, ayun, okay. Lumalaban ang power. Lumalaban ang power ang art, alright? So, actually, I am very excited na rin sa mga matututunan ninyo. Ayan.
Miss Sarah, I'm back. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Alright, yan po, no? Paumanhin sa mga pagkakataong ganito. So anong gagawin ninyo? That's the second thing I would like you to learn. Kung sakasakali na hindi mo mapigilan to answer a call, definitely that's so informal of me in answering a call, but definitely that was really an important call. I've been waiting since 1 p.m. That's why I had to excuse myself. But other than that, syempre dapat hindi. Okay, so we have to compose ourselves, politely say, excuse me, may I take the call, and so on and so forth. And then at least you have a partner or you have a collaborator. In my case, Miss Sarah was able to really take over and proceed with what we are doing. I think in public speaking or in any event, virtual event that you're doing, napaka-importante yung tinatawag nating collaboration and coordination kahit on the spot, syempre, doon sa ating mga kasamaan. That's what you call agility. Okay, let me type the word for everyone. That's another word I would like you to learn, agility. So, pinagandang salita, but if you're going to check your Google, I'm sure you know that's more of flexibility or adaptation. Paano ka ba maging fluid when it comes to the situations? Okay? So again, let me go back to the words I've mentioned. Isa nagsabi art. So art is actually your personal style. So from the word art, sana ma-imbibe natin yung idea na dapat kakaiba tayo sa mga nagsasalita. We can actually imbibe, we can actually follow, we can actually idolize, let's say, public speakers, but at the end of the day, kakaiba pa rin yung merong iba sa atin. Kasi more often than not, ang gusto natin minsan kung ano o kung paano magsalita ang isang tao, dapat ganun din tayo agad. Actually, in the preliminary stages or in the few, let's say, you're a beginner or beginning public speaker, that's fine. But eventually, you have to establish yourself. Because as I said, When it comes to art, that's your personal style or your technique that makes you different. So I hope right now you know yourself at masasabi mong, kapag ito ako magsalita, yun ako. That's my brand of speaking. All right, so that's art. For the second word, power, I would like to clarify that power does not mean that you should be in a position. Okay, it does not mean that you should have a formal designation to do something else. Power to me is equated to leadership. At yung leadership na tinatawag natin to ay influence. So syempre, pwede tayo maging influensya positively or negatively, but right for us to influence positively. So power in my presentation is actually to inspire and to influence in the context of leadership. At kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga kabataang leader dito ay talagang kailangang magsalita. And through speaking, it is where they inform. It is where they educate. It is where they change minds. It is where they persuade others to, let's say, support them for you to be able to get, let's say, a help from everyone. So that's power. That's inspiration, that's influence. And finally, words. And when I say words, they are not specifically only the written ones, not the spoken ones, but even the unspoken words. For example, a photo that you would be using later on in your speech or in your presentation would mean a lot because it may make or break your presentation. So sana, when it comes to words, we use the right words. Hindi ba meron tayong tinatawag na euphemism? Let me type it in the chat box. Euphemism. For those taking English courses, or di ba yung mga, ang inyong specialization ay doon sa languages, then euphemism would be using the words that are more acceptable. For example, instead of saying dead person or he died, you may say he passed away, correct? Instead of saying that you're short, then you may say he is horizontally challenged. Or if, for example, malusog, you may say vertically challenged. Or rather, horizontally challenged is big, malusog, and then short would be vertically challenged. I mean, these are just few of the euphemisms that we can use, and you can only use them properly through experience and through practice. So let me begin with those words. Art, dapat kilala mo ang sarili mo, meron ka dapat estilo. At kung sinabing Miss Glenna May Saura, o ito siya, ganito siya magsalita, all right? When it comes to power, it has something to do with inspiration and influence. And when it comes to words, use the right ones so that you could be able to convey, inform, educate, entertain. And mind you, recently doon sa, di ba sa mga artista, doon sa nangyari, doon sa US when it comes to this grand awarding ceremony kung saan, di ba, may sinampal na presenter. So we could have avoided these kinds of situations, though we cannot. Pero meron sanang mapipigilan kung gagamitin natin yung tinatawag nating timing or the right words that we would be uttering. All right. So how about giving each other a heart sign first for those three words? So whether you chose art, power, or words, I hope I was able to contextualize the relevance of this. So I'm Virgo Clemento Lopez. Please call me Sir V. All right. Sir V at your service. And talaga namang serbisyo po ito sa inyong lahat na learning is sharing at the end of the day. Kaya tuwang-tuwa po ako sa pagkakataon na ito na nabahagi sa akin para makapagbahagi din syempre ng aking kaalaman tungkol sa paksang binigay. Okay, so welcome to the art of giving power to words. Let's get started. Anyway, happy first day of April. O, di ba? Fool's Day. Sana po no, sa ating mga post din, huwag natin gamitin yung mga issue tungkol sa mental health and so on and so forth na pwedeng makasakit sa iba. So pwede tayong mag-celebrate or proceed with the April Fool's Day. But again, let's be polite. So I have two questions to transition to what I'm about to say this afternoon. The first one is, why speak up? Now, yung mga gustong magsalita at magbulalas ng kanilang sagot sa tanong na ito, kindly virtually raise your hand. Once again, I would like to hear probably 2 or 3 participants. Why speak up? Why do we need to speak up? Okay, I see the first brave soul from this batch. We are 295 and counting. Sino kaya ang pwedeng magsabi at sumagot sa tanong na, why do we need to speak up? Okay, let's wait. May we have Christian Fortunado Almadrones. Please open your camera and go ahead. Sir Christian. Ayan. Sige, babalikan natin. Okay, go ahead, Sir Christian.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. We need to speak up in order to hear our voice because our voice is really powerful to change one situation. Because once our voice is really in a pointing situation, for example, we can really change easily sa pamamagitan ng isang boses o sa pagsasalita, maaari nating mabago yung isang sitwasyon.
All
Kung
right.
nasa pagkakataon man tayo na naguguluhan, we need to speak up para ma-listen up yung bigat na nararamdaman natin. Because once we share our voice, maaring makakuha tayo ng magandang suhestyon at isa ring magandang boses na maaring makabago sa atin. Ayun, sir. Thank you.
Right. Powerful indeed, right? And then, Sir Christian, I would like to commend the quality of your voice. Probably magaling din kumanta si Sir Christian. O siguro bigyan natin ng pagkakataon sa susunod na siya naman ay kumanta. So tama yun, na sa mga sitwasyon na nangangailangan na tayo ay magbulalas ng ating mga nararamdaman para maitama yung mali, makasiguro na tama yung ating naibabahagi, at syempre may paliwanag o maklaro yung hindi natin naiintindihan. So tama yun. Maraming salamat, Sir Christian. Ma'am Girly Etang, ayan, hindi lang siya handa sa kanyang background, handa rin siya sa pagsagot. Go ahead.
Blessed afternoon, each and everyone. Why speak up? Simple as ABC lang po ang aking sagot. Speak up to express. Express what's in your heart, in your mind and spirit for you to unload the heavy load that you are feeling. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Ma'am Girly, in fairness, kahit na may mga stop or failures sa kanyang pagsasalita, I must say that the confidence that you exude is actually observable. So napapansin niyo po, no, kapag kayo sumasagot, may mga comment or feedback ang inyong speaker o inyong kasamahan. So this is also a way for us to learn and then to validate na, ganun pala na napapansin sa aking pagsasalita. So I hope that for the succeeding questions and then for the participation that I'll be asking from you from my talk would be, of course, maximized. Thank you so much, Ma'am Gerlie. And we have two more, Miss Louise and Fulminar. How about you, ma'am? Why speak up?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. For me, speaking up is when you communicate publicly, assertively, and honest for the rights and needs of yourself and others, and also help us share our knowledge and the content of our hearts.
Ayan, di ba? May formal na sagot. Thank you so much, Ma'am Louise, to share what is in our heart and to share what we know. So merong heart at may mind. I think I would like to add, syempre sa mga teacher na nandito, we should add the hand, the application of what we're about to say or what we are sharing para holistic yung ating pananalita. I think what I got from Ma'am Fulminar is the idea that once we talk, once we share something, once we deliver a speech, we should ensure that we're not only targeting the cognitive part, which is the head, not only the heart, but more so the hand, the suggestions on how we could implement, for example, let's say the knowledge or the concepts that we are sharing. And then we have the last two. For the others who have already done, Sir Christian and Ma'am Louise, probably you can lower down your hands virtually. Thank you. Sir Rodelito Isguera. And then let's have Miss Charlotte as the last one. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Why speak up? Okay. So it is important to speak up because it allows us to grow as individual, and it is being able to be through ourselves and being able to stand up for what we believe in.
Ayan, di ba? Sa Tagalog, may paninindigan si Sir Rodelito Isguera. And ilan sa atin ang may paninindigan, pero kapag ang pinag-uusapan na ay yung pagbubulalas nito, tayo natitigilan at sinasabi natin tumitiklop tayo. I mean, you don't need to answer. That's a rhetorical question. But only few would really stand up and be consistent with what they are thinking and feeling to the point that they are able to share it. So sana no, sa ating pananalita, kasama dito yung consistency na kung ano yung ating pinapaniwalaan kapag tayo nagsabi sa likuran or wala tayo sa entablado, dapat ito rin syempre yung marinig at maramdaman ng mga nakakakinig sa atin. Sabi ito rin ni Ms. Glenna, parang nasa simbahan ba tayo? Maraming salamat. And finally, Ms. Sarmiento, your turn.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In order to express ourselves, we need to share our different views. May our views may be different or differ. So sharing my views to certain or particular event or could be inspire other individuals like.
Mhm. Right. Sharing, ang magic word sa sharing ni Ms. Sarmiento. So I think there are also those participants who type in the chat box because our words may answer one's question. Correct, di ba? Ikaw ang hinihintay na kasagutan ng taong may mga tanong. Very good. To express our thoughts. And I think to summarize and to get the theme of all of these answers is to simply express ourselves with the goal to, let's say, inform, the goal to inspire, the goal to influence. So for us not to forget, I express because I would like to, first I inform, because I would like to influence, because I would like to inspire. So at least these three I's that begin with you should really be powerful enough so that we could, let's say, attain the goal of speaking up. So sana no, before tayo magsalita, maraming gustong magsalita, maraming gustong pakinggan, pero wala namang saysay o wala naman doon sa panahon, wala naman doon sa kinakailangan. So sana no, timing and the right intentions. I would like to specify that once you speak up, you should have the timing, kailan ba ang tamang panahon. And then, of course, the right intentions. Because I must say, you will never go wrong with the right intentions. Okay? So you may say that to yourself without you unmuting. Please say, I will never go wrong with my right intentions. Sabay-sabay. Ayan, mahusay.
I would never do wrong with
Yeah,
my intentions.
exactly. So for the next one, I would like our young participants to respond to this. Do you think speech is powerful or is speech power? Sige nga, yan ang pangalawa kong tanong sa ating mga kabataan. If we can give way to our youth, yung mga nag-aaral pa ganyan, I would like you to tell me and to express your answer. Yes, Miss Obra, what do you say?
Yes, so about that, I'm sorry.
You're being heard. Continue.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm sorry, sir, what was the question again?
Do you think speech is powerful or is speech power?
Yes, indeed, speech is power because it conveys the ideas that we need to impart to people in order for them to inculcate some ideas that they need to apply to themselves and yes, that's it.
All right. Okay, there you go. Hindi ba, Miss Obra, before I let you go, parang ang dami mong gustong sabihin, pero kapag nagsasalita ka na parang, oops, wait lang, bakit hindi lumalabas yung gusto kong sabihin? Please confirm, Miss Obra. Tama ba?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. But what's good about you is that you did not simply answer the question with a yes or no. Instead, mayroong emphasis, may stress. Sabi mo, definitely. Or you may say, absolutely, I agree. That's the thing, ultimately, these kinds of words, in order for it to really have a stress on your answer. And then I think you gave the right words. It so happened that natigilan ka dun sa dulo kasi feeling mo, yun na yun eh. So if that's the case, what you should do is to really expound more on the words or on the focus words that you have said, right? Upang nang sa ganon, matansya mo, ano pa yung gusto mong sabihin. So do not forget, you can give examples, all right? And then you may also wrap it up at the end. So, ang third na gusto kong strategiya na maintindihan ninyo is yung tinatawag nating outlining or organizing what you're about to say. Because, informally, we can say whatever we want to say, how long, for example, how many words. Pero yung talagang tinatawag natin na skill para nang sa ganon, sakto, hindi mahaba, hindi maiksi, ay dapat meron tayong outline. And please make it a habit. If you have, let's say, short time to prepare, then scribble. When I say scribble, just jot down your thoughts. For example, you have 3 points or at least 2 punto na gusto mong ibahagi doon sa tanong o doon sa ibibigay sa iyong pagkakataon para makapagsalita. Because let me tell you, not everyone is given an opportunity to be able to speak up, for example, in this kind of platform. So at least in a way, once you make your outline or your notes, for example, then you can maximize the opportunity given to you and minimize, of course, yung mga filler or yung tinatawag natin na mga saywang doon sa gusto natin sabihin. All right? So other than that, Miss Obra, I think you made your point. Very good. Miss Glenna May Saura said, yes, speech is powerful because it is the way to inform, transfer knowledge, and to many people. Example, debate. Very good. So debate actually is the art of argument. And let me say, when you say argument, it doesn't necessarily mean na makipag-away. But argument in the sense that mas papalalimin natin yung mga paksang pinag-uusapan. So we agree to disagree in such a way that my proposal or my stand is better because, and then you enumerate the reasons. Ang problema sa kasalukuyan, mga kapatid, mga kapamilya, at mga kapuso, ay we do not listen to others before we argue. More often than not, we are already ready on what to say. Instead, dapat pinapakinggan muna natin yung iba para nang sa ganun makita natin na may punto ba or alin doon yung pwede nating mapagbigyan ng, let's say, room for improvement. So that's a good point. Speech is powerful because our voice matters. Probably not technically kung gaano kalakas, gaano kahina, because I must say, it's a plus points kung talaga yung boss mo ay buo, hindi ba? Yung talaga makakapag-command ka. Kasi in the past, especially men, okay, this is gender-sensitive concern, na ayaw nilang napapakinggan ang mga babae dahil matinis daw ang boses, tama? Because kung matinis ang boses mo, masakit sa tenga. Do you remember the Justice Aguirre, correct? In the past na, nung nagsasalita si Miriam Defensor, the good senator, right? Tapos nakaganyan siya. Kasi maganda yung sinasabi ni Senator Miriam, but because of the voice, let's say the quality of it, ayaw pakinggan ng iba. So, let me express my opinion on that imagine si Senator Miriam na yun na talagang may quality, may content, pero ayaw pakinggan ng iba. But of course, iilan lamang yun. So plus point yung idea na parehong may quality of voice at may quality of content. At yan naman ay napag-aaralan at napaghahandaan. Na sana, kung meron ka ng content ngayon, hasain mo yung sa quality part. And vice versa, if you have the good voice, dapat it should follow that you should have a good content as well to share. If that's understood, how about giving me a party popper from your end? O, di ba? Hanapin mo dyan ang party popper. Sige nga, Miss Jeline Palmes, nahanapan mo na ba? Basta nandyan yan. So for the others who are reciting, as much as I would like you to speak up, we give chance to others so that at the end of the day, ang goal ko ay sana makapagsalita kayong lahat. Okay? So let me proceed. Let's ponder on this. That to summarize what you've answered, indeed, public speaking is the art of giving power to words, and that's my title of this presentation, to influence, inspire, and transform lives. O di ba masyado siyang, kumbaga, perfect. But I'm not saying na sa isang salita lamang ay mapababago mo ang mundo, hindi ba? But the words that you say, the many times given to you to be able to inspire collectively, then it would result in the long-term change or innovation. And mind you, change is uncomfortable. Change is inconvenient. Change, especially if it is abrupt, will be resisted by everyone. But through your words, hopefully, and positively, these, let's say, efforts, initiatives to change would be accepted. Kasi makinig na mabuti. Hindi natin masisisi ang karamihan sa atin na kapag tayo nasa isang institusyon at gusto natin baguhin ito, ay ayaw naman nilang sumunod. Ayaw naman nila sa akin kasi ganito daw ako, blah, blah, blah. But don't you know that by experience, nasa strategy kung paano mo sila kumbinsihin. nasa strategy kung paano mo sila gustong pakinggan ka. And that's through the power of words. For example, instead of saying na, gawin na lang kasi natin to kasi ito yung tama, blah, 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 blah. Why not say, you've been doing this practice for quite some time. May I ask if what was the significant result of this? And then you wait for a response. That's pause. That's listening. And if there's no response, or if there is, but it's not, for example, reasonable, you may add, may I express? So if that's the case, so we do not expect that this problem with those solutions over and over again would be able to solve this. Because as you mentioned, it has been over time, but no significant change. So probably if you can consider my opinion, or let's say my suggestion, for us to do it the other way around. So imagine the difference on the tone of the voice, the right words that you may say, the timing and the purpose. Kasi minsan tayo, aminin natin, I, for example, is guilty of charge. Pag feeling mo hindi mas matalino ka sa iba, tapos feeling mo nasa iyo yung solusyon, we become so assertive that it's turned to be aggressiveness. Let me say that again. Yung pagiging assertive natin minsan, dahil feeling natin, hindi sila magaling. Ako lang ang may alam nito. So hindi, ang tagal, hindi sila sumusunod. That assertiveness usually is being transmitted or it's converted to aggressiveness. So whether we have the right intentions or not, yung pamamaraan ng pag-represent natin nun would make the difference. So if you agree, please hit the chat box and say, totoo naman. Come on, chat box please. But if you don't agree, you're not forced to do so, all right? Okay, let's move on to the next point. So for this, I hope to finish because Ma'am Vanessa is already here, a good friend of mine who will also be sharing something. The learning targets I would like to share would be number 1, to adapt strategies. When I say adapt, nasa decision mo kung ito ay pwede sa'yo, kung ito ay akma sa'yo, then so be it. Ang problema kasi sa ating mga kaibigan, or rather the concern is that pilit nating ginagawa or ginagaya ang mga bagay-bagay na hindi naman angkop sa atin, or mga bagay-bagay na hindi para sa atin. For example, I have long gone admitted that I cannot sing. So marahil sa inyo, sinasabi niyo, ang ganda naman ng boses ni Mr. Lopez. Siguro magaling itong kumanta. Di ba ganyan? But I'm not. So I have already accepted the idea that I cannot sing well. Ma'am Vanessa and Ma'am Sarah know that. So at least the awareness that there are strategies that could be suited to you. Now, the good thing is that kung hindi man ito akma sa'yo, pwede mo siyang ituwik, dagdagan, bawasan para ito ay mag-swak sa'yo. So that's the first thing I would like you to learn, strategies that you may adapt or adopt. Okay, let me tell you the difference. Okay, Papa, anong tawag nito? Nag-English class ang inyong speaker. So anyway, at the end of the day, adopt with an O is to copy-paste. Okay, but adapt with an A will be when it comes to tweaking. There will be slight changes, all right? Slight changes doon sa strategiya na ibibigay ko sa inyo. I hope you do the latter. Kasi minsan mas madali nga namang kumopya, di ba? O sige nga, if you agree with your faces, tumango kayo ng 3 beses. Naniniwala ba kayo na mas madaling kumopya? O di ba? O wag sobrahan baka umabot sa baba, sa ating baba. Okay, kidding aside, I would like you to do the latter, to adapt. Kung pwede itong ay i-adjust ng konti para mag-swak sa'yo, please do it. Okay? So that's the first goal for this afternoon. For the second one is the idea of developing techniques. Nabanggit ko kanina, ano na ulit yung tinatawag nating art? That's personal style or technique. So sa'yo lamang ito. Alright? Ikaw lamang ito. So nakaka-flatter madalas na may gumagaya sa'yo, di ba? Like si Crazy, oh my God, boy, oh, di ba? At iba pa. Because you want to also establish a brand of yourself, of your own. But more often than not, dahil naging komportable tayo doon, parang ito na lang din ako. Not quite. So again, it takes some time for you to be able to adapt fully and have your own brand of speaking. So I hope in this event or in this webinar, you should start thinking and reflecting, oo nga no, ano kaya ang masasabi ng tao pag ako nagsasalita? Si Isguera yan. Si Baby Rosel yan. O si Baby Boy yan. And pangatlo, some tips on how to deliver a speech with impact, especially election ngayon, di ba? Marami kayong naririnig. Ang daming magagandang speech, correct? Pero kahit maganda yung nakasulat sa papel, pag ito ay sinabi na, bakit walang epekto? bakit parang nagmukhang recitation sa klase? Because the difference is on the method, on the manner, and on the matter. Okay, let me say those three words now. I'll say it again. Importantly, tatlong M ang gusto kong tandaan ninyo. Matter, manner, and method. I'll be explaining thoroughly, if I still have time towards my presentation. Matter is actually the content, yung nilalaman ng gusto mong sabihin. So more often than not, syempre yung mga scriptwriter sa kanila na yan. Pero kahit sabihin natin na magaling ang iyong tagapagsulat, kapag ikaw mismo ang hindi mo kayang ito ay isabuhay or let's say implement or react, the second M, manner, which is something to do with your personality, malaki ang kaibahan nito. Halimbawa, ang iyong boses, ikaw ba ay palaaway? Ikaw ba ay pasigaw? Di ba? Napansin niyo recently, Dr. Carl Balitos running for the Senate is quite respectful, right? The tone of the voice is not really that high, not that so low, hindi mabilis, hindi mabagal. Pagkos maririnig mo, may paninindigan, hindi ba? So that's the manner that I'm talking about. The personality that should exude and that should be suitable and related to the topic you're about to say or you are saying. And finally, the method has something to do with your organization. Siyempre naman kahit ang ganda ng gusto mong sabihin kung halo-halo o di bang sarap ng halo-halo sa ganitong panahon. Meaning, you talk about this positively, then you go to negative, and then you mix it all up. Then so, the coherence of your thought or the flow of your idea would be disrupted. So sabihin tuloy na makikinig sa'yo, ano raw? Na parang, nasaan ako? I was lost, this kind of thing. And then mind you, the goal in speech is to actually deliver the message as you somehow aspire to be received by your audience, correct? So kung ano yung inisip mo na maiintindihan nila, dapat ganun din. Maraming nagkakamali sa bahagi ito dahil sa metodolohiya na kanilang ginagamit. Ang daming patanong, ang daming pa-example. Sa dulo, hindi naman nasagot yung mga tanong o hindi naman nakapagbigay ng halimbawa. So usually, it's the intro, di ba? Nakalagay dyan, intro kung saan dapat may hook. Sa umpisa pa lamang, dapat makuha mo na yung audience mo. Siyempre dyan, lalabas yung mga fact and figure. Tumataas pa rin ang mga kaso ng pandemya sa kabila ng eleksyon na ating nararanasan ngayon. So anong ating gagawin? Lalabas ng tuluyan or babalik sa ating nakasanayan? Oh, that's a good intro, right? So that's a hook. Mapapaisip ngayon yung mga tao na, oo nga no, kahit eleksyon, meron pa rin pandemya. So anong gagawin natin? They would listen further to what you're going to say. Now, the second one has something to do with the body, and you know this exactly to be the details. And in the details, you should be able to give examples. And in the examples, they could be facts and figures. O mga kaibigan, ang daming fake news sa panahon na ito. Sana marunong tayong tumingin ng totoo sa hindi totoo. Sabi nga ng GMA, dapat totoo sa isip, salita, at sa gawa. O, di ba? At syempre sa pangdulo, nandyan yung conclusion kung saan it should emphasize the main idea of the speech. So, ibig sabihin mga kaibigan, sa hook dapat nandyan yung tinatawag nating main idea. Ano ba yung gusto mong tarukin? Ano ba yung gusto mong tumbukin sa yung speech? If you want to talk about, let's say, collaboration in the midst of the pandemic, then you should be able to convey, let's say, support or let's say collaboration at the beginning. Pwede mong sabihin, it may sound as a cliche, ang lakas ng walis tingting ay nasa pagbibigkis-bigkis ng mga bahagi. Parang ganon, Or you may say, nasubukan niyo na bang magwalis sa inyong bakuran kung saan ginamit niyo ng isa-isa yung tingting? I mean, it may sound as, so simple, but in a way, it would really cascade doon sa main public. Kung tatanungin mo ako, ano bang mas marami? This is critical, ha? Yung mga mas nakapag-aral o yung mga may moderate level of understanding? Oh, take note, I didn't say bobo, ha? Ang sinasabi ko, yung nasa middle ground na hindi ganon ka-advance ang napag-aralan at hindi naman ganon kababa. All right, na hindi imbecile. So it's in the middle ground that majority of the people should be able to understand clearly in simple terms what you're about to say. So that's another thing. The fourth strategy, you should know your audience. Dapat kilala mo sila, hindi ba? Dapat alam mo kung saan sila nanggagaling. And mind you, you should know when to extend your speech, when to cut it short. Pag tatanungin niyo ako, so kailan? Kailan natin hahabaan at kailan natin iiksihan? If no one is already listening, such as this time, di ba, may mga tumatango, di ba? These non-verbal cues, may mga tumatango, may mga nagsusulat. Ibig sabihin, gusto nyo pang makinig, correct? Pero pag meron na yung nag-slouch, o meron na yung nagpatay ng camera, meron na yung kung ano-anong ginagawa, it means to say you have to wrap it up or you have to get their attention back through probably giving a fact or giving a figure. So generally, these are the things I would be sharing as we go on. It's 4:45 in the afternoon, so I barely have 20 minutes. Okay, let me move on. So in this presentation, let me begin with communication, of course, sharing of knowledge with each other. So there are 7 effective communication strategies in general. Number 1, be clear. Nakalagay dito, practice social distancing. What do you mean by social distancing? So instead of that, you may say, you may be more specific. Stay at home, get groceries once per week, and give suggestions, all right? Give specific ways on how to maintain social distancing through suggestions and enumeration of ways. So that's actually being clear. O ikaw mismo, kung hindi mo maintindihan yung speech mo, kuya, ate, do not speak up, all right? You should only be able to deliver what you're about to say kung ikaw mismo, naintindihan mo yung sasabihin mo. Kaya utang na loob. Let me say the words again. Utang na loob. Huwag magbahagi ng mga bagay-bagay na ikaw mismo hindi mo naiintindihan. First, you will be at loss. Second, you may spread misinformation na talamak na sa kasalukuyan. Huwag ka nang dumagdag. O mga kapamilya, may I see a thumbs up kapag siyang tunay ang aking mga naturan. So the importance of clarity would be when it comes to vision, make objective clear, avoid complex words and phrases. Gone were the days na pag gumagamit ka ng highfalutin words o yung tinatawag nating jargon, halimbawa nurse ka, alang namang sasabihin mo, okay, we should be using cornucopia. O diba, cornucopia ang sinabi mo, ang cornucopia lang naman is yung lalagyan or you let's say a paper or a container for trash. Then why do you need to say cornucopia if you can just say a receptacle? You know what I mean? So what's the use? Probably at the back of your mind, you are thinking na, mas magaling ang tingin sa akin ng tao kapag gagamit ako ng salitang hindi nila alam. But take note, proven time and time again that more so na pag hindi ka naiintindihan ng mga nakikinig sa'yo, especially yung majority of the people, they will not continue to finish or let's say listen all throughout your speech. So gumamit ng mga salitang mas naiintindihan. I plan actually to speak the English language all throughout my presentation, but look at me now. I'm speaking the vernacular. Why? Mas naiintindihan nyo, di ba? Sige, use the chat box and say, sige nga. Do you want me to speak in English all throughout? Sige. Next one. The second one is be concise. So, wag masyadong mahaba, wag masyadong maiksi. Ito yung tinatawag nating principle of brevity. And when we say brevity, hindi mahaba, hindi maiksi. Yung saktong-sakto lang. At masasabi natin na ang mga nagsasalita ay swak at sakto kapag sila mismo marunong makinig. Di ba kayo mismo, ayaw nyo na mahaba? Tama? Ayaw nyo rin na maiksi. So you should know better, right? You are also listeners yourselves. And so it's just practical na kung ayaw mo ng mahaba na walang saysay at ayaw mo rin naman na maiksi na nabitin ka, more often than not, mas maganda pa ngayong maiksi, di ba? Ibang naisip ng mga taong bayan. Ano mas maganda? Mahaba o maiksi? Pili ka. Go. Chat box. Sige nga, mag-survey tayo. Ayon sa mga Pilipino, ano ang mas gusto nila? Mahaba or maiksi? In general terms. Sige nga, tingnan natin. Wala nga ang katamtaman. Mga pasaway, dapat mamili ka sa dalawa. Sabi na nga, mahaba or maiksi? Katamtaman. Sakto lang. Pag dalawa lamang ang pagpipilian, maiksi o mahaba, sagot. Mahaba, maiksi. Dipindi kay Duterte. Ready? Bongo. Sige na. So again, nabanggit ko na kanina na pag ito ay hindi na nakikinig ang iyong mga tagapakinig, a long speech is long one for someone who's not good at speaking, and a short speech is short for a good speaker. So be reasonable with the length of your speech. At mararamdaman mo naman yun. Kaya makiramdam sa iyong mga tagapakinig. Alright, next, number 3. Ang sasabihin natin sa pangatlo, mga kapamilya, ay, okay, nakalagay dyan, stick to the point and keep it brief. Avoid filler words. Though, listen, sa extemporaneous speech or sa biglaang pananalita, kailangan mong magpahaba. Kasi halimbawa, yung mga filler like what I'm trying to say is that in another perspective, meanwhile, yung mga ganito ay pagkakataon para mapahaba mo at makapag-isip ka ng sasabihin. So that's okay for extemporaneous speech. But for public speaking, all right, na pwede ka namang maghanda, you should be able to read, reread, and check and invite others to listen to you. And be honest, dapat sila honest sa'yo na mahaba ba o hindi. Para nang sa ganun, yung feedback, authentic. O people, magic word, authentic feedback. So wag kang maniwala na magaling kang magsalita. So here, listen. The people who would be able to give you honest feedback is never yourself. Instead, it would be others. Humanap ka nung talagang, yung walang preno, yung ang pangit, hindi maganda. I think that becomes constructive. Tayo kasi mga Pilipino, mas komportable tayo sa maganda ba, o di ba? Ang typical na Pilipino sabihin, o di ba, parang sandwich na, maganda naman, pero maganda, o di ba? So what do you get? You know what I mean? So aspire to seek authentic feedback which becomes constructive and be open to accept them. Kahit na yung mga galing na mananalita. For example, si Oprah, let me tell you, every after his talk, he said in one of his interviews, how was that? Was it good? So siya nga na super eksperto na sa pananalita, we can say the queen of talk, would always ask for a feedback. How much more for us? All right? So we should do the same. Number 3, be concrete. Ano bang gusto mong pag-usapan? Tungkol sa pandemya, tungkol sa programa, tungkol sa pagkikibaka, tungkol sa pagbabago. Anong tungkol sa pagbabago? Radikal, progresibo, or what have you? So you yourself should know what you're talking about. All right? Trim down your topics because it says here, be specific, not vague. Use facts, figures to support your claims. For example, you don't say, students' English scores are higher. What's higher? Saan ito? Anong datos ito? Saan to galing? So, ngayon sa panahon na to, tamad na tamad tayong magsaliksik. Ma'am Vanessa Joy Gasat, the one who would speak after me, is actually a good researcher. And mind you, later on, may mga citation yan. At ilan sa atin yung ma-appreciate na, wow, may mga citation. So we should do the same. Kasi at least hindi ito kantong barbero or kwentong barbero, bagkus galing sa mga reputable sources. Na sana kung may pagkakataon tayo, maghanap tayo ng mga mayroong basihan. At hindi lamang yung mga kwento ng kung sino-sino. Number 4, correct dapat yung ating impormasyon. Nakalagay dyan, tamang panahon, yung katotohanan, may emosyon. Kasi whether you like it or not, makikita mo naman kung plastic lamang yung emosyon, di ba? Marami ng mga politiko, or let me say that I'm not saying specific ones, but in general, some politicians simply are trying so hard for them to be understood or for them to be part of the common public. But simply, it takes some time for them to be able to do that authentically. All right? So again, error-free communication. Sana naman, I'm not saying na kailangan masyadong correct or perfect yung grammar natin. Between fluency versus accuracy, listen carefully. Pag sinabi nating fluency, mga kaibigan, yung ating spontaneity, paano tayo mas naiintindihan? So yung tuloy-tuloy na pagsasalita. No, kahit may mga lapse sa grammar, it's okay. But accuracy, on the other hand, has something to do with grammatically correct sentences. Ang problema kapag doon tayo sa dapat grammatically correct, nagiging tayo masyadong focus doon. Kaya mas lalo tayo nagkakamali. So take note, kung tayo naman ay naiintindihan at hindi naman major problem yung ating grammar, then don't mind. Pero syempre naman, pag sinabi mo, she don't do it, kunam. Or let's say, the Filipinos is people. That's something for you to work on. At least the basic subject-verb agreement should really be known by you. Yung basic lang. Marami po sa YouTube yan, ha? Mag-aral tayo, pwede po nating mapanood. Kasi ayaw nating maging instant clown. Halimbawa, sinasabi mo, why are you looking at the monkeys outside? If I am inside, sabi mo, kasi teacher ka. Ang punto mo doon, bakit sila tumitingin sa mga unggoy? Nandito ako dapat makinig kayo sa akin. Mali yung English niya. Dapat sabi ng teacher, do not look at the monkeys outside. I'm talking here, stop. Parang ganon, okay? Or pag sinabi mo, I have 2 daughters, both are girls. Totoo naman, hindi ba? So I hope those commonly mistaken words should be corrected, okay? I'm almost done with my part. Sige, dumako tayo sa susunod. Siyempre din, kailangan coherent. Okay? At pag sinabi natin coherent, mga kaibigan, ang sinasabi ng coherent, dapat mayroong unity doon sa ating pinag-uusapan, hindi yung halo-halo. So when we say coherent, may logical na flow. Mayroong first, second, third, fourth. So you must be able to clearly mention in this speech, I'll be talking about 2 to 3 factors why people succeed, you know? And then if you say 3, dapat may 3 talaga. So this is to provide guide doon sa mga tagapakinig. I give 2 examples, yung mga ganyan. There are 2 ways to do this. So these are all devices for you to be able to coherently present your speech. All right? Number 6, dapat kompleto, hindi yung, di ba? Biglang sabi mo, ay, hindi ko na alam yung sasabihin ko. See you next time, di ba? Ganyan. So complete would mean that you must be able to develop the theme all throughout. So kung ano yung sinabi mo sa umpisa, yung introduction, dapat mahabi mo sa dulo. Critical na bahagi ng speech yung patimula at yung panghuli. Kasi doon sa gitna, hindi naman talaga masyadong makikinig ang mga audience. So what you should do, invest to strongly start your speech and of course, you strongly end it as well. Yan ang dalawang bahagi ng speech na kailangan pagtuunan mo ng pansin at kailangan mong gawin ng tama at kompleto. Okay? So message contains everything it needs to. Dapat may pagpapagbibigay ng kahulugan, may pagpapalalim, may resource, and so on. Okay? And panghuli, be courteous. Masyado ng maraming taong agresibo sa panahon na ito para mapakinggan. Baka naman kasi hindi natin kailangang sumigaw. Baka naman kasi hindi natin kailangang makipag-away para tayo mapakinggan. Baka naman ang boses na ganito, ang mahinahong pananalita ng ganito, ay mas papaboran ng publiko na gustong makinig ng tama at talaga namang yung dapat nilang malaman. So be friendly, open, and honest. When I started, I'm sure yung iba sa inyo parang nakakatakot naman yung speaker, di ba? You have these kinds of reservations. Ay, bakit ganun ang boses? Ay, ganito. Ay, bakit malam niya? And so on and so forth. So whatever you project in front would determine your effectiveness as a speaker. All right? So project what the people want to see. And people simply want someone na makaka-relate sila. So kung ikaw ay doktor ng filosofiya, doktor ka, ang dami mong tinapos, you don't necessarily say, I am Dr. Virgo Clemente Lopez. Ganyan. Huwag mong ibulgar. Di ba? Kasi baka, ay, doktor masyadong mataas, nakakaya naman. Baka ako'y tanungin, hindi ba? But simply start with the idea na ako po ay katulad nyo rin na nangarap na maging magaling sa pananalita. At gusto kong ibahagi ngayon ang aking natutunan mula sa aking karanasan. So from that alone, they would say, ay, parang katulad natin siya. Ay, parang gusto ko rin ng ganon. Gusto, di ba? So it becomes more collegial. It becomes more amiable. It becomes friendly. And mind you, you will never go wrong with the right gesture in front of your audience. Okay? So, katulad nito, may mga bagay-bagay na kailangan natin itama. Sige. Sabi dati ni Candy Pangilinan, who's a good mother right now, doon sa kanyang anak, mali yung konteksto niya. Nung sinabi niyang, akala niyo igurot ako, hindi ako igurot, tao po ako, sabi niya. So, tama naman yung sinabi niya. However, it became a wrong context doon sa mga nakikinig, doon sa Baguio nung panahon na yon. Okay? So sana magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon para i-kabisado, i-rehearse yung ating mga sinasabi kasi who knows, we might be tagged as persona non grata because of a single line that we've uttered out of context. So ito yung mga critical na panahon, kaya nga nakita nyo kanina I say this is critical, let me be very clear with this. So you should be able to provide transitions so that the people would know, okay, ito palang punto niya. Okay? So pag hindi tama yung ating nasabi, maraming problema. Sakit ka ng ulo. So I think I would end here for now. That's what I reach. So I'll go on to the last part of my speech. So I hope hindi ko na-touch yung public speaking, but more likely ang gusto kong sabihin mga kapamilya ay yung huling pagkakataon. Key takeaways. Okay? So can you give me a few minutes, okay, because Ma'am Vanessa is already here. Here we go. The key takeaways from my sharing. Number 1, Adapt strategies to effective speech communication. To answer that is remember the 3 M's. Matter. Magma-matter ba yung sasabihin mo? That's your content. So kailangan mong mag-research. Kailangan mong pag-aralan ang sasabihin mo. Manner. Are you friendly? Makaka-relate ba sa'yo ang iyong audience? At syempre, madalas, mas maganda yung mula sa karanasan. So do not share anything. Kung ako halimbawa, kung wala akong karanasan sa public speaking, mararamdaman nyo ba? Of course, makikita nyo na wala akong kredibilidad na magbahagi. Pero ngayon ba, sa tingin nyo may karanasan ako sa pananalita? O sige nga po, patingin. Yung totoo? Really? Okay. At syempre yung panghuli, method. Maging mahusay tayo sa pag-aayos. Kasi kung yung speech mo mismo hindi maayos, what do you expect? Hindi rin maayos na maiintindihan ng iyong tagapakinig. Alright? So that's the first goal. The second one is that for us to develop our own identity, brand, style, and technique of becoming confident. Listen, kadalasan ang ating takot ay dahil hindi natin alam ang pangyayari. The fear of the unknown is the usual factor. Dahil hindi natin alam kung ano mangyayari. So anong gagawin natin? Then practice and prepare. Kasi kapag ikaw ay handa, ikaw ay talagang nakapag-practice, more likely the fear of the unknown will be overcome. So preparation, practice, and exposure. Mind you, when I was in elementary, when I was in high school, meron akong co-teacher na kasabay ko na maglakad kasi ang layo ng eskwelahan. Anong ginagawa namin? Sabi niya sa akin, Virgo, anyway, if he's listening, Dr. Matt from Isabela, mag-English tayo. So sabi ko, bakit? Wala lang, basta mag-English lang tayo. So sabi ko, ayoko sir, teacher na siya doon kasi wrong grammar ko, okay lang yun. Kasi pag nag-English ka, i-correct ko, bukas makalawa yung mali mo, may katama na. So it became a habit and a routine for me to speak the language each day that we go to school by walking, by our feet, and eventually only to find out, ay, medyo magaling na pala ako sa wikang Banyaga. So sana gano'n din kayo. Exposure, onti-onti. Ano ba naman yung konti-onti na pupuno doon sa kakulangan mo sa ngayon? Alright? There you go. At pangatlo, mga kaibigan, in order for us to have tips on how to deliver a speech with an impact, redefine public speaking. Sana ang ating intensyon ay mabago. Kasi aminin natin, gusto natin magpapansin, correct? I'm not saying all of you here, but deep within us, gusto nating makilala. Tama? Gusto natin mapakita na magaling tayo, ganyan. Gusto natin may pakita sa crush natin, see, ang crush mo ay magaling, mga ganyan. So I hope our intentions would be changed at mas mapalalim natin ang dahilan kung bakit tayo nagsasalita. Katulad ngayon nito, Dr. Carl Balita, for example, would have deeper purpose of talking to the public. That's why he does not shout and he does not speak so fast because he would like the public for them to know what he wants to do in the Senate once he wins. All right? So that's the purpose of public speaking. Express, ladies and gentlemen, yourself with passion. Gusto mo talaga ito at with a vision. May gusto kang kamtin at may gusto kang baguhin sa pamamagitan ng iyong pananalita. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, for communication and collaboration purposes, you may reach me all through these platforms. Kung may kailangan kayo when it comes to College of Nursing, yung mga estudyante ng student nurses dyan, then you may contact me for mentor and so on and so forth. For collaboration, I would be happy. At the end of the day, being collegial and being collaborative is what we call for in this time of crisis and for the times to come. All right? So maraming salamat po. This has been Virgo Clemente Lopez. Nagpapasalamat at umaasa na sa susunod ay magkita-kita po tayo at makapagbahagi ng personal ng iyong mga karanasan bilang isang nilalang na may gustong ibahagi sa sanlibutan. Maraming salamat po.
There you have it. Thank you very much po, Sir V. I'm sure that everyone will agree with me na talaga sobrang natuto po kami sa inyong mga ibinahaging kaalaman. And this time, we would like to continue with our next speaker. Ayan, nandito na po siya. She is both a registered nurse and a licensed professional teacher. She is also a board top-notcher and one of the CBRC's icons. The director of the CBRC Research and Publications. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Vanessa Joy Gasat. Hello po, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sarah, for that introduction and, of course, for the opportunity given to us to share our knowledge and to share whatever we have when it comes to public speaking. And I am very glad to be here and to talk to everyone right here sa Zoom. So kahit di tayo magkakasama personally, I think this is the new normal now, no? So kailangan mag-adapt na talaga tayo sa ganitong klaseng setup. So I have seen kanina, no, yung ating mga areas kung saan tayo naroroon ngayong hapon na ito. So, reviewing kung ano man na nakalagay sa chat box natin kanina, I can see people from all over the Philippines. So, meron tayo sa Luzon, sa Visayas, and sa Mindanao. Ayan. So, first, I would like to say thanks to Sir Virgo kanina, Dr. Virgo, for sharing his insights. So, ang dami ko ding na-note, ang dami ko ring natutunan dyan. So, isa po ito sa mga important things na we have to remember, no, when it comes to public speaking. Never stop learning. Kasi kung wala ka namang alam, kung wala kang bagong ma-share, anong sasabihin mo sa iba, di ba? So for these opportunities na binibigay sa atin to learn, to have or to gather new information, learn insights from others, we grab it para mas tumaas din yung abilidad natin dito sa kung ano man ang gusto nating experience na makuha or ability na ating gustong i-improve. Ayan. So again, good afternoon everyone, and I hope you're still okay, you're doing fine amidst this pandemic na we have right now, no? So I see people na nasa mga work areas, workspaces, yung iba naman Gina G, di ba? Ready makinig. May mga notes talaga sila, naka-headphones talaga sila. Ayan. So anyways, I am here currently in Baguio City right now. So sa mga nasa Baguio dyan, shout out. Ayan, kaway-kaway. Kung gusto nyo pumunta dito as a friend, okay lang naman. Maluwag ang Baguio City ngayon. Alert level 1 na lang po kami. So go na. So punta na kayo dito para kumita ang mga taong bayan. Nag-promote. Turista yun. Ayan, sige. So punta kayo dito para masaya. Ayan. So now I will be sharing to you kung ano man po ang mga na-research ko, no, tungkol sa public speaking, so that every one of us can also learn kung ano man ang mga nasasabi ng mga eksperto tungkol sa public speaking. So as what was mentioned by Sir Virgo kanina, mahilig akong mag-research at magbasa ng mga kung ano-ano. Kaya meron akong mga citations nga dito sa presentation ko. So tama siya. Kasi the ideas that I will be sharing to you is not originally from me. So it is but right to acknowledge, to give credit to whomever I have gathered this information. So sana maging kultura din po natin ang ganyan na huwag tayong mangangkin ng mga idea na hindi naman galing sa atin, 'di ba? So part po 'yan ng public speaking kasi it will build your credibility, 'di ba? Kasi if malalaman ng tao na ninakaw mo lang pala ito, pag nakita ng tao, uy wait, yung sinabi niya parang ito yung binabasa ko ngayon. Ala, hindi pala siya ang nagsabi noon. Ala, hindi pala galing sa kanya. So masisira yung in-establish mong integrity. So we have to make that as a culture to give credit to whom credit is due. And we give glutathione to people like you, Annette. Ayan. O, diba? So part po yan ng public speaking. So kunin natin ang atensyon ng mga taong bayan. Alright, so without further ado, dahil malapit na po ang dinner time and yung iba sa atin kailangan mag-prepare dahil meron tayong mga binubuhay, meron tayong mga anak na kailangang paghainan ng pagkain at meron tayong mga asawa na kailangan paligayahin. Ayan, so mag-ready na tayo. Oh, 'di ba? Napatawa ka na naman kayo. So again, part po 'yan ng public speaking. All right. So for now, let me share my screen so that let's all learn together kung ano man ang mga how-tos natin dito sa tinatawag po nating public speaking. So actually now, sabi nga kanina din ni Sir Virgo, election. So ang dami talagang opportunity for us to voice out. There are a lot of opportunities na makapagbigay tayo ng ating opinion or masabi natin kung ano man ang mga naiisip natin. So let me share with you kung ano man po ang nabasa ko tungkol sa paano ba natin ma-deliver ng maayos itong ating speeches at kung paano natin mako-convey yung message natin. Kasi more than the method of how we speak, more than our voice, more than the pitch of your voice, more than the quality of your voice is your message. You have to get your message across. Kasi kahit na ang galing mong magsalita, ang ganda ng boses mo, masarap pakinggan yung boses mo, kung wala namang laman yung sinabi mo, what's the point na nagsalita ka pa, di ba? So, kailangan, it's a combination of both. Kasabi nga nila, dapat you get the best of both worlds, di ba? Kailangan yung manner mo of getting your message across will drive into the message na gusto mong ibigay sa mga tao. So with that, I am Vanessa Joy Gasat and let me share with you ang mga public speaking how-tos po natin. So simulan lang natin sa konting introduction about the different types of speech. It's important for you to know ano-ano ba ang mga types of speech na meron tayo kasi dito natin kukunin or dito natin huhugutin kung ano or paano mo gagawin ngayon yung message na gusto mong ibahagi sa iyong audience. So mostly meron tayong 4 pero different references, iba-iba rin siya pero yung general natin kunin yung 4. So we have your informative speech, your argumentative speech, persuasive speech, and finally, we have the entertainment speech. So for the information speech or informative speech, our keyword there is the word inform. So basically, why are you doing this speech? It's because you want to add knowledge to whatever is yung alam ng audience mo. So most likely, magbibigay ka dito ng kaalaman, ng information, pinagsama English at Tagalog. So you will give information, data, statistics, research, ganyan. So mabigat sa research or pananaliksik pag sinabi nating informative. Kaya careful tayo if we are to give your informative speech kasi kailangan ang mga sasabihin natin dito or ang laman ng mensahe mo ay tama, ito ay dapat totoo, at ito ay dapat nanggaling sa credible or reliable na source kasi ito ang magiging pundasyon ng kaalaman ng audience mo. So kung mali ang sinasabi mo, mali din ang malalaman ng audience mo. So yan ang kailangan nating matutunan when it comes to your informative speech. So pag sinabi na you have to deliver an informative speech, it is highly research-based. And the next, we have your persuasive, and then the third, argumentative. Pagsamahin natin sila, no? Let's compare and contrast these two. Kasi si persuasive at some point nagiging argumentative. Si argumentative at some point nagiging persuasive din siya, di ba? Yung persuasive, from the word persuade, meaning kukumbinsihin mo yung audience mo, di ba? Na paniwalaan kung ano ang pinaniniwalaan mo as a speaker. So dito sa persuasive speech, kailangan nating makumbinsin na kung ano man ang sinasabi mo tama. So ang gusto nating mangyari sa persuasive speech ay mapalitan natin yung perception ng audience natin para sila ay umanib sa atin. So kukumbinsihin natin sila. Kapag argumentative naman, para siyang debate, no? Sa argumentative, gusto mo ding hikayatin, gusto mo ring i-encourage yung mga tao na maniwala sa kung ano man ang pinaniniwalaan mo. So somewhat, they are the same. However, yung atake nila is magkaiba. Sa persuasive kasi, paano mo inaatake yung tao na kumbinsihin na umanib sa'yo, it's through their emotion. So sa persuasive speech, more likely, ang mga ibibigay natin dito ay mga kwento ng buhay, experiences ng ibang tao, kasi kailangan nating i-appeal yung emotion ng mga audience natin. Kailangan maramdaman nila yung lungkot. Kailangan maramdaman nila yung saya. So that's persuasive. Pero pag argumentative, intellectual ito, logical ito. So kukumbinsihin natin yung tao na umanib sa atin or paniwalain natin yung audience na tayo ang tama sa pamamagitan ng logical reasoning. So ang atake natin dito, intellectual, pang-utak. So bigyan mo yan ng mga datos, bigyan mo yan ng science, bigyan mo yan ng research, ganyan. So ang atake natin sa argumentative, intellectual. So pang mga matatalino, mga ganyan. And then lastly, entertainment speech. So you are just there to provide joy, to provide happiness sa ating mga audience. So ito yung pinakamagaan, no? Pero pinakamahirap gawin. Lalo sa panahon ngayon, ang hirap palagayahin ng mga tao, ganyan. So again, importante, no, na dapat pag ikaw ay mai-invite as a public speaker or ikaw ay inimbitahan na magbigay ng inyong speech sa kung anumang ceremony na meron or kung anumang program na meron, you need to know anong speech ang ihahanda mo. Is it informative? Is it persuasive, argumentative, or entertainment speech. Now, knowing the different types of speech, let's look into how to create and organize a well-prepared speech. So ito ang focus natin ha, yung mga preparadong speeches. So not more of mga extemporaneous. So this is more of isusulat mo muna yung speech mo bago mo i-deliver yung speech mo. So meron kang time to prepare. So ano ang mga kailangan nating gawin para mas maging maayos yung ating speech? So gamitin natin yung model na present ni Ortiz and McCornack noong 2019. So yan po ang isa sa mga citations na tinatawag natin because this model did not came from me. So I adopted it from the original authors of the model. So sabi nila, in order for you to create your speech and to ensure na organize ang flow ng speech mo, meron tayong 5 steps na kailangan gawin at susundin natin to step by step para ma-ensure natin na pag na-deliver na natin yung speech ay naibigay natin kung ano ang gusto nating ibigay. Dahil kanina narinig ko din, may question yata Sir Virgo and then may sumagot, marami pa siya sanang gustong sabihin pero hindi niya na nasabi. So para ma-ensure natin na yung gusto mong sabihin, masabi mo, sundin natin tong 5-step model. At saka minsan kasi, kapag tayo ay binibigyan ng opportunity na magsalita, tapos nakapagsalita naman tayo, pero hindi natin nasabi lahat, ang bigat sa loob, di ba? Ala, dapat sinabi ko pa to. Ala, kulang yung sinabi ko ah. Paano kaya pag ganito yung sinabi ko, di ba? So parang mahirapan tayong makatulog sa gabi. So para hindi mangyari sa atin ang mga ganyang bagay, let's use your 5-step model. Ayan. So sa 5-step model, what do we have to do? First, you think, you have to investigate, you compose your speech, you rehearse your speech, and then you revise. Kasi wala namang perfectong speech, lalo at kapag unang beses mo pa lang siyang ginawa. So tingnan natin yung mga detalye ng 5-step model na ito. Paano ba natin siya gagawin? So, inahin natin yung think. So, sa model ni Ortiz and McCornack, ano ibig sabihin ng think nila? Number 1, know your audience. Kasi remember, as a public speaker, it's not about you. Your speech is about your audience. Kasi kung ang focus ng speech mo ay tungkol sa'yo, mawawala ng interes ang mga tao. Ano ba yan? Siya na naman. Alam, galing niya daw. Ala, doktor daw siya. Ala, ito daw yung nagawa niya. So mostly, wala na sila interest. Bakit? Wala naman silang pakialam sa'yo. Ang pakialam ng audience mo ay ano ang benefit na makukuha nila sa'yo. Diba? Kaya ito sa election, kung papansinin nyo, no, mag-introduce itong ating mga kandidato pero at the end of the speech or bulk ng speech nila is more focused on their platforms kasi sa platforms nila makikita ng tao ano ang benefit ko sa'yo pag binoto kita, di ba? Kasi nga wala namang pakialam yung tao sa'yo, ang pakialam nila ano ang makikita ko or anong makukuha ko sa'yo. So kumbaga, what's in it for me? That's why you have to make your speech audience focused rather than self-focused. So first, what you need to know your audience. Analyze your audience. So gather information about your audience. So halimbawa, inimbitahan ka, uy, bigay ka naman ng speech sa graduation ng ganitong school, ganyan. Uy, bigay ka naman ng speech mo tungkol sa ganitong topic. So first, you ask the organizers, di ba? Sino po ang audience natin? Ano po ang age group ng audience natin? Ito po ba ay more of mga lalaking audience or mga babaeng audience? Taga saan po yung mga audience natin? Ano ang social, economic status ng mga audience natin? Mga professionals po ba yan? Mga average po ba sila? Or hindi po masyado? Kasi i-adjust natin yung speech natin sa audience natin, 'di ba? Yung manner mo ng pagsasalita, yung pagsuot mo ng damit, yung mga salita na gagamitin mo, nakabase yan lahat sa audience mo. Kaya anong una mong kailangang malaman more than the content of your speech, who is your audience. So you have to gather as many information about your audience as you can. So yung mga public speakers natin, hindi yan basta-basta lalabas in stage na walang alam tungkol sa kanilang audience. So before pa nagsipaglabasan yung mga public speakers na yan, ni-research na muna nila, ito yung mga attend sa programang ito yung mga makikinig sa akin, so ganito dapat ang speech ko. So that's one thing, no, sa think natin. First, think about your audience. So analyze who is your audience. And then number 2, you have to determine your purpose. So papasok na po dito yung type ng speech. So bakit ka ba nandyan? Bakit ka magsasalita? Bakit ka inimbitahan? So magbibigay ka ba ng information? I-entertain mo ba sila? Or kukumbinsihin mo sila? And then next, you can now choose your topic. So based on the theme na ibibigay probably ng mga program organizers, ganyan, then dun natin kukunin yung mga message or yung context ng ating speech. And when it comes to choosing your topic, no, sabi ng mga iba't ibang mga nabasa ko sa mga tawag dito, public speakers talaga, like yung mga scientists din, even, di ba, yung sa mga Forbes, sa TED Talks, ganyan. If you are to choose your topic, make sure na at least you have 1 or 2 main topics lang. Kasi more than that, hindi ka na maiintindihan ng audience mo. So kapag gagawa ka ng speech, prepare 1 or 2 central themes only. So dun lang mag-revolve kung ano man yung mga sasabihin mo. Kasi daw, pag 3 na yan, hindi na nila magigets, or pag 3 na yan, makakalimutan na nila sa sobrang daming information na pumasok sa kanila. And remember, ang buhay natin ay busy na. Tapos ang dami mo pang sinasabi sa kanila, wala silang maaalala. So again, in choosing your topic, as much as possible, 1 or 2 lang siya. And then you develop now a working thesis statement. So meaning, what's your focus? So ito na yung sagot or yung tanong na gusto mong sagutin, or ito na yung central theme kung saan iikot yung speech mo. So pwedeng tungkol sa kwento, tungkol sa isang pangyayari, or tungkol sa isang balita na lumabas kamakailan lang. So yan yung first step natin dun sa model, no? Pag-isipan mo muna kung ano yung gagawin mo. In the next, pag napag-isipan mo na lahat yan, punta tayo sa pangalawang step, and that is to investigate. So with this one, ayan, nagkamali tayo ng spelling, di ba? So isa to sa mga we need to be careful in giving your speeches. Ayan, so investigate. So sa pag-i-investigate, anong gagawin natin dito? Locate your resources. Say for example, you need to give an informative speech, you need to give an argumentative or a persuasive speech, kailangan marami kang mga resources dyan. So magbuklat ka ng mga libro, ngayon, information, wala tayong problema dyan kasi in as easy as clicking a button, di ba, or pressing enter, lahat ng information makukuha mo. Just make sure na credible yung source na pagkukuhanan mo. Siyempre, hindi mo pwede sabihin, narinig ko po sa influencer sa TikTok, ay sabi po ni Sasa Girl, o 'di ba? So hindi pwedeng ganoon kasi walang taong maniniwala sa iyo, 'di ba? So kapag ikaw ay maghahanap ng resources mo, make sure na credible at may integridad yung pagkukuhanan mo. And then number 2, you keep your research cards or your notes kasi sa sobrang dami ng resources na nalocate mo, di ba? You have to trim it down. Kaya kapag may nakuha kang maganda, say for example, sa isang libro or sa isang website or sa sinabi ng isang teacher mo or ng isa pang credible na tao, dapat may research card ka. So yung mga research card natin, mga maliliit lang po na post-its yan or mga scrap paper na maliliit lang. So isusulat mo lang doon kung ano yung importanteng nakuha mo sa libro na yan, sa website na yan, tapos ilagay mo yung reference mo para pagka nakagawa ka na ng mga research cards mo or research notes mo, pagsasama-samahin mo na yung mga magkakaparehas ang topic. Kumbaga, iaayos mo sila as according to the theme. O for example, lahat ng may kinalaman sa utang ng Pilipinas na research card, dito kayo. Lahat ng may kinalaman sa COVID-19, dito kayo. So pagsama-samahin natin yung mga information coming from the different resources. So medyo matrabaho pero it will add credibility to you. Matrabaho pero yung integridad mo naman ay mas tataas bilang isang public speaker. At kung mataas ang credibility mo, ang integridad mo, mas mapapaniwala mo ang mga tao. And then from there, you can now frame your thesis statement. So as according to the groupings na yan ng research cards or notes na magagawa natin. So that's number 2. Yung number 2, medyo mabigat, no? Kasi when it comes to research, wala naman talagang gustong gumawa ng research unless masipag ka sa buhay. Di ba? Yung pagkapanganak pa lang sa iyo, ang pangarap mo ay maging researcher, ganon. Pero syempre kung hindi, kasi research means a lot of reading, research means kailangan marami kang mabasa, marami kang naiintindihan, di ba? Medyo matrabaho. Pero again, wala namang madaling gawain, di ba? So kung gusto mong ma-improve yung sarili mo, ma-improve yung self mo as a public speaker, kailangan mong mag-research. Di ba yung mga ating mga columnists, journalists, say for example, Jessica Soho, Boy Abunda, I think naririnig ko to nung nag-interview si Boy Abunda sa mga presidential candidates natin, 'di ba? Sabi ni Boy Abunda, according to my research, according to my reading. Sabi ni Jessica Soho, according to this one, according to this news, ganyan. So ibig sabihin, bago sila humarap dito sa mga presidential candidates, handa sila. Paano sila naghanda? Nagbasa. So that's part of research. That's part of pananaliksik. So sa gusto natin or sa ayaw man natin, kaakibat ng public speaking ang pagre-research. Kala kasi natin, public speaking, salita-salita lang yan. Etchos-etchosin ko, kinikimehin ko lang ang mga yan. Pero hindi pwede kasi ang mga tao ngayon matatalino. Ang mga audience natin ngayon magagaling na, 'di ba? So kailangan may laman yung sinasabi natin. So mahirap, pero through practice, magagawa naman natin siya. Sige nga, kung gusto nyong mag-research, can I see in the chat box, I love research. O sige, utuin natin ang mga sarili natin ngayon, di ba? I love research. Sige nga, sabihin mo sa chat box, tignan natin kung gaano ka-plastic ang mga taong kasama natin dito. Ayan, very good. O, di ba? I love research. O, ayan. So, I love research na umiiyak. Okay lang, naiintindihan ko. So, sa umpisa, wala naman talagang may gusto ng research. Pero kapag ginagawa mo kasi siya, unti-unti, nagugustuhan mo rin ang research. Ayan, sige, thank you so much. Shout out sa mga nagkakaroon ng love sa research. Ayan, I love research tapos may clown na emoji. Lokohin natin ang masarili natin. Okay. Next, let's go to the third one, the third step in the model, and that is now to compose. Ayan. So compose meaning gagawa ka na talaga ng speech mo kasi nag-gather mo na yung mga data na gusto mo, alam mo na kung anong sasabihin mo, kilala mo na kung kanino mo sasabihin ang mensahe mo, so pwede ka nang gumawa. Ayan. I love research. Happy April Fool's Day. Kaya nga ako pinachat na I love research kasi April Fool's ngayon. Lokohin natin ang mga sarili natin. Ayan, sige. So let's go back here sa pangatlong step. Again, that's to compose. So kapag magko-compose tayo, kaakibat ng public speaking actually ang ating abilidad na magsulat. Kasi kung hindi ka naman magaling magsulat, hindi ka rin magaling magsalita unless minimemorize mo lang ang ibibigay na speech ng ibang yung ibibigay na composed message na ng ibang tao sa iyo. Pero as a public speaker, 'di ba? Liliit ang tingin mo sa sarili mo kasi isipin mo, kaya ko magsalita pero hindi ko to kayang gawin. Nakakainggit naman, 'di ba? So dapat kung magaling kang magsalita, magaling ka ring magsulat. So dito na papasok yung kagalingan natin sa pagsusulat natin. So in composing, you have to identify your main points and sabi ko nga, 'di ba, as much as possible, keep it to 1 to 2 main points only. And the next, you prepare now your introduction, your body, and then your conclusion. Kasi usually, ang mga speeches natin, nahahati yan sa tatlong bahagi. Ang intro mo, yung body mo, and then yung conclusion mo. So sa tatlong ito, no, I don't want to say that the introduction is the most important one kasi lahat ang tatlong parts na to, they are equally important. So marami lang nagsasabi na importante ang introduction kasi that is where you will actually hook your audience to listen to you, 'di ba? Doon mo kukunin yung kilite, yung interest ng audience mo. However, kung nakuha mo nila sila sa introduction, na-hook mo yung audience mo to listen to you, pero pagdating ng body mo, sabog ka naman na, edi mawawala, disappoint yung audience. Ano ba yan? Ang ganda nung sinabi niya nung una, parang ngayon hindi ko na siya maintindihan, 'di ba? And then sa conclusion naman, importante ang conclusion kasi it's like a summary of what you have just mentioned to your audience. So sa conclusion natin, ipapa-remind ulit sa ating audience what's our main point. So kumbaga, si conclusion ang dahilan kung bakit hindi ka makakalimutan ng audience mo. Kaya I don't want to say na, or I don't want to tell kung alin sa tatlong pinaka-importante kasi actually lahat naman sila importante. Kaya kung maglalagay ka ng effort in making the introduction, body, and conclusion, same effort lahat dapat yan. So sa introduction, keep it at least mga 5 minutes, no? 5 minutes short, tapos na dapat yung introduction mo. And ngayon, we do away as much as possible with giving conventional types of giving introduction, like greeting the audience, diba? Good morning, everyone, or how are you? O kumusta kayo? Magandang umaga sa lahat. Mga parang sawang-sawa na yung mga tao dyan. So you always open with a bang, diba? So gawan mo ng bagong intro. Pwede magtanong ka, you engage the audience, 'di ba? Or ngayon ang uso no sa pagbibigay ng introduction, props. Gumamit ka ng props. So meron akong mga nakikita na mga public speakers na once they approach the stage, may hawak silang something. Halimbawa, may public speaker na naninigarilyo. Tapos, ang point pala ng speech niya is about smoking. So, yun yung magandang props niya. So, ngayon yung tao, parang magugulat, uy, magbibigay ka ng speech, ba't ka naninigarilyo? Uy, di ba, tuturuan mo kami how to stop smoking, ba't may hawak ang sigarilyo? So, from that, wala ka pa actually sinasabi, hindi pa bumubukas yung bunganga mo, nakuha mo na yung atensyon ng audience mo. So isa yon sa mga magagandang pamamaraan natin no sa pag-create ng introduction natin. Unconventional way of creating your introduction. Use a props. Ganyan. Tapos yung body natin, dito mo na ipapasok no, yung mga supporting details tungkol doon sa main points mo. And again, dapat dalawa lang yan. Tapos kapag magsuswitch ka na from one main point to another main point, make sure na there is a good transition or yung tinatawag nating pause. Para alam ng tao na, uy, kailangan ko nang i-switch yung mind ko. Uy, bago na ulit yung sinasabi niya. So ano ba yung mga pwede nating gamitin as transition? Kapag gusto mo nang mag-switch from one main point to another main point. Pwedeng mag-inject ka dyan ng story, magkwento ka saglit. Kahit yung kwento mo walang kinalaman dun sa sasabihin mo, magkwento ka lang para mapahinga ng audience yung minds nila. And then, ma-rewire ng audience yung utak nila na, ay, bago na yung topic na sasabihin niya. Or, pwedeng magbanggit ka ng joke. Pwede rin namang literal na mag-pause ka. Ibig sabihin, talagang wala kang sasabihin or wala kang gagawin. Mag-pause ka lang talaga. So from there, makakapagpahinga din yung utak ng audience mo. Pwedeng ready na ulit silang makinig sa panibagong main point mo. So ganun yung mga pwede nating gawin if you would want to switch from one main point to another main point. And of course, your conclusion, no, nabanggit ko kanina, it's somewhat a summary of your main point. And dito mo ibibigay yung, kumbaga, mga key takeaways mo, no, kung ano talaga ang gusto mong ma-remember ng audience mo doon sa sinabi mo. Sa sandamakmak na sinabi mo, kung uuwi sila, ano yung gusto mong maalala nila na sinabi mo. So that's part of your conclusion. And the next, you have to create now your outline. Dito mo ilalagay ano yung sasabihin mo sa intro, dito mo ilalagay asan yung body, ano ilalagay mo sa conclusion, ganyan. And you prepare now a presentation aid. So presentation aid, it could be like this. So common na ginagamit natin as our presentation aids would be the use of your PowerPoint, no? So make sure na your PowerPoint will not actually be the one na magpe-present for you. Rather, your PowerPoint is just your visual aid. So, kukunin mo siya as an added point for you or kukunin mo siya, yung PowerPoint mo, kaya mo siya ginagawa kasi gusto mo lang magkaroon ng visual background yung audience mo. Pero hindi ka gumawa ng PowerPoint para doon basahin ng audience mo yung sasabihin mo yung speech mo. Kasi maraming ganyan, no? Kapag magpe-present sila ng PowerPoint, kung ano yung sinasabi nila, yun mismo nakalagay sa PowerPoint. So, anong gagawin ng audience? Magbabasa, diba? So, mahati yung attention ng audience mo. Ano bang gagawin ko? Pakikinggan kita or babasahin ko na lang yung nasa slide? Syempre, lalo na kung pangit pa yung boses mo, hindi na makikinig sa'yo yan. Basahin ko na lang yung nasa slides, diba? Kaya yung paggamit natin actually ng mga presentation aids, it can either make us or break us. So, pwedeng makatulong siya sa'yo or pwedeng sirain niya rin yung speech mo. Kaya make sure na pag gagawa ka ng PowerPoint mo, akma doon sa speech mo at hindi dapat nakalagay doon kung ano ang gusto mong sabihin. So, more likely kapag mga presentation aids, mga ano lang yan, mga pictures, di ba? Mga graphics or videos to get the attention of your audience. Ganyan. Or kung may gusto kang ipakitang datos, so mga graphs, ang mga lalabas dyan, di ba? Pero not necessarily yung entire speech mo nasa PowerPoint na. So ayan. So part ng paggawa ng speech mo ay mismong presentation aids mo. And now, moving on, malapit na nating matapos, mabuo yung 5-step. So, number 4 is to rehearse. So, rehearse meaning you just practice it, di ba? So, bago ka humarap dun sa actual audience mo, make sure na na-practice mo kung ano ang gusto mong sabihin. So, you prepare now your necessary speech notes kasi there are speeches actually na pwede ka namang magdala ng cue cards, di ba? Cue cards in the form of your post-its or yung mga index cards, ganyan, para hindi ka mawala sa sasabihin mo. So, parang yun yung magiging guide mo. Itong part na ako, ito yung dapat kong sabihin, conclusion na ako, ito yung importanteng sabihin ko. So, actually, pwede yan. So, it's actually it's dependent on the style of the public speaker kung anong gusto niya. Pwedeng ang gusto niya memorize niya yung speech niya, wala namang mali doon, yun nga lang, pag masyado kasi nating memorize ang isang bagay, nawawala yung authenticity, nawawala yung emosyon, di ba? Kasi kung memorize yung speech mo, nakafocus ka na dapat hindi mo makalimutan kung ano yung susunod mong sasabihin. Kaya kapag memorize ang speech, nawawala ang emosyon kasi dire-diretso tayo sa pagsasalita. Kasi nga, we fear na baka mawala sa isip mo yung memorize mo. So again, there's nothing wrong with memorizing it as long as practicing mo siya with emotion, with feelings, para hindi mawala kapag magbibigay ka na ng speech mo. May mga public speakers naman na ang ginagawa nila, nagdadala sila ng cue cards. So again, wala rin namang problema kapag meron kang cue cards para at least ma-maintain mo yung spontaneity ng gusto mong sabihin, yung organization ng gusto mong sabihin. Although ang downside, kapag may mga dala tayong cue cards, pwedeng isipin ng audience na we are not really prepared for our speech, kaya meron tayong kodigo, or hindi natin alam kung ano yung sinasabi natin, kaya meron tayong kodigo. So, either or, kung alin man doon ang technique na suitable for you, ang key doon is to practice it. Practicein mo para hindi isipin ng tao na robot ka kasi memorize mo lang, wala kang emosyon, ganyan. Or para hindi isipin ng tao na hindi mo alam kung anong sinasabi mo. So again, ang sikreto, mag-ensayo ka, mag-practice ka. And then, tandaan na pag nag-practice ka, dapat kasama yung PowerPoint mo or kung ano man ang presentation aid na gagamitin mo. Kasi minsan, hindi nagtutugma yung sinasabi mo sa lumalabas sa PowerPoint mo, nakakasira, di ba? Kasi sasabihin ng audience, hindi po gumagalaw yung PowerPoint, na-stuck po yung PowerPoint, nasa slide 1 pa rin po tayo, ganyan. So, nakakasira ng mood as a public speaker. So, make sure na pag nag-practice ka ng speech, kasama kung may gagamitin ka mang visual aids. And then you work on your vocal and non-verbal delivery. Kaya as much as possible, if you rehearse, go in front of a mirror para makikita mo din yung mga hand gestures mo, makikita mo rin yung facial expressions mo. Alam mo, mukha pala ako masungit pag nagsasalita, ganyan. So at least, mababago mo pa siya. Masyado akong maraming galaw ng kamay, nakaka-distract. Or, masyadong mataas ang aking kilay, ibaba ko, di ba? So at least nakikita mo yung itsura mo para hindi ka rin ma-conscious pag nagsasalita ka na sa harapan ng maraming tao. Kasi this is one of the problems, no? If we are speaking in front of people, we are very conscious on the way we look. Hala, masyado yatang nakabuka yung bunganga ko. Hala, may lipstick na ata yung ngipin ko. Di ba? Minsan ganun, yung lipstick natin lumilipat doon sa ngipin natin. So pag nagsasalita tayo, may pink, may red na yung ngipin natin. So with that, now conscious tayo kung anong itsura natin. So para alam mo kung anong itsura mo pag nagsasalita ka, pag nag-practice ka, humarap ka sa salamin para you will not wonder how will I look pag sinabi ko to, 'di ba? And then the last one, you obtain feedback from another person. So ibig sabihin po nito, pag nagpa-practice ka, dapat maraming sessions 'yan. Una, mag-practice ka na ikaw lang sa pamamagitan ng sa harap ng salamin para makita mo kung ano yung dapat mong i-improve. Pangalawa, pag nag-practice ka, humanap ka ng tao na magbibigay ng critic or magbibigay ng comments sa'yo. E nabanggit ni Sir Virgo kanina, make sure na hindi plastikadang tao yung iimbitahin mo. Kasi kung plastikadang tao yan, wala kang mapapala. Hala, ang galing mo, ang ganda. Hindi naman pala, di ba? So ikaw lang yung mapapahiya dyan. So make sure na kukunin natin na magbibigay ng comments sa atin ay yung tao na brutally honest, kumbaga, di ba? Yung hindi sila mahihiyang magsabi na, ang pangit ng bunganga mo, laki masyado. Hala, ang bilis mo naman magsalita. Ang pangit ng boses mo, tinis-tinis. Hala, wala namang sense yung sinabi mo, di ba? So, dapat brutally honest. And as a public speaker, we have to keep an open mind. So we have to be open to the suggestions. We have to take it constructively kasi it is a way for us to improve ourselves, di ba? And as much as possible, pag mag-i-invite ka ng tao na magbibigay ng feedback sa speech mo, dapat yung taong yon ay may alam sa sinasabi mo. And as much as possible, kaparehas niya yung audience kung kanino mo sasabihin yung speech mo. For example, in-invite ka na magbigay ng speech sa kabataan, edi wag kang kumuha ng matanda na magbibigay ng komento, di ba? Kasi baka ang sabihin niyang komento, ala, hindi mo maganda yung sinabi mo. Baka kasi yun ang comment niya dahil hindi naman siya makarelate sa mga pinagsabi mo, di ba? So dapat yung iimbitahan mo na magbibigay ng comment ay tao na kasing kahalintulad ng karakteristik ng audience kung saan mo ibibigay yung speech mo para makarelate sila. So that's for rehearse. And then, finally, the last one sa model natin, revise. Dahil sabi ko nga kanina, there is no perfect speech. So lahat ng comments na makukuha mo, may it be from your own, kasi nag-practice ka din, di ba, sa harap ng salamin, or may it be from the persons na inimbitahan mo, gamitin mo siya to improve whatever it is na dapat mo i-improve. So may it be on the content of your speech or may it be on the manner how you delivered your speech. Basta importante dito, i-revise mo muna bago ka humarap sa actual na audience mo. And syempre, pag ni-revise mo yan, hindi pwedeng mag-stop ka na doon. Actually, babalik ka saan? Sa rehearse, di ba? So pag ni-revise mo siya, i-rehearse mo ulit. Pag ni-rehearse mo siya, baka may mali ulit. Edi i-revise mo ulit. So it's actually a continuous cycle until such time na satisfied ka na doon sa produkto. Kaya sa public speaking, medyo matrabaho ang preparation natin talaga dito. Pero sabi nga natin, kung gusto natin ng magandang resulta, paghirapan natin siya, di ba? So those are the steps na we need to fulfill para mas ma-ensure natin na maganda at organisado ang speech na i-deliver natin. And with that, we are on to the last part of my topic for today. And it is for me to give you tips to be a good public speaker. So may 4 na tips po na lalabas dito. This is according to North in 2018 para makatulong po sa atin na i-improve yung ability natin in public speaking. Actually, madami siyang sinabi. Yun nga lang, trim down ko lang siya into 4, yung most important. Kasi dun sa tips na binigay ni North noong 2018, may mga tips na nag-overlap. So, pagsamahin na lang natin para hindi naman masyadong maraming tips yung alalahanin natin. So, sabi ko nga, 4 lang naman po ito. So, ano po ba yung 4 na yan? Una, P&P, so practice and prepare. So this is part of your rehearsal, no? This is part of your revision. So hindi ka pwedeng humarap sa audience mo nang wala kang alam. Kasi sinong mapapahiya? Ikaw, di ba? Ikaw yung nandoon. Pangalan mo yung at stake dyan. So make sure na you came prepared and bago mo sabihin yan, nag-practice ka na. And then number 2, ito yung sinabi ko rin kanina na know your audience. Again, your speech is not about you, rather it's about your audience. And in knowing your audience, no, papasok po dito yung tinatawag nating attention span. Sige nga, when it comes to the attention span, gaano lang katagal ang attention span ng mga listeners natin? If you have any idea po, sige, chat box. Say for example, you are listening to a lecture, you are listening to a class, ganyan, or to a discussion, gaano lang katagal ang attention span natin? Yes, o diba? Iba-iba. Yan. So in the context of public speaking since ang ating pinag-uusapan ay public speaking, ang kunin natin yung sa public speaking. Actually, sabi nila, yung attention span lang talaga ng average na audience natin sa public speaking is roughly 5 to 10 minutes. Kaya nga, yung introduction mo, make sure na tatatak sa kanila yan. Kasi kung hindi mo sila mahuhook within that 5 to 10 minutes, wala na makikinig sa'yo. However, ang sabi ni Ralph in 2016, isang magaling na public speaker, ang average na public speaker ay nagpaplano para sa average na attention span ng audience niya, which is again, mga 5 to 10 minutes. But for a great public speaker, ang pinaplano niya ay yung optimal attention span ng audience. So ano ba ang optimal attention span? Ang optimal attention span is actually 18 to 20 minutes. Ayan. So again, kung ikaw ay isang mahusay at magaling na public speaker, hindi yung 5 to 10 minutes ang paghahandaan mo. Ang paghandaan mo, yung 18 to 20 minutes. So, basically saying, ang paghahandaan mo, yung buong speech mo na. Kaya if you have watched mga TED Talks, say for example, in YouTube, ganyan, usually ilang minutes ang mga TED Talks? 18 to 20 minutes, 'di ba? Kasi ang TED Talks ay binubuo ng mga excellent na mga public speakers, mga batikang public speakers talaga. And that is the maximum time na they prepare, mga 18 to 20 minutes. Kaya karamihan sa mga TED Talks natin, 18 to 20 minutes sila. So that is what I want you to remember, no? If you want to become a great public speaker, prepare for 18 to 20 minutes. Kaya halimbawa, kayo po ay naimbitahan para magbigay ng speech or mag-open ng isang topic or mag-discuss tungkol sa isang topic, you need to know how many minutes yung ibibigay nyo sa akin for the speech or for the discussion. 20 minutes po ba? 40 minutes po ba? Kasi yung iba, di ba, at least mga hanggang 40 to 45 minutes yata yung maximum nila. Yung iba naman, 20 minutes lang. So halimbawa, kapag in-invite po kayo sa isang program na magbibigay kayo ng speech ninyo or magdi-discuss kayo on something, kapag sinabi nila nang ibibigay na time for you ay 20 minutes, isang main point ka lang. Kasi yung 20 minutes na yon, sapat na yan for a main point kasi lalagyan mo pa yan ng mga supporting details, 'di ba? So, pag 20 minutes lang, keep it ng isang main point lang. And then, kapag ang binigay naman sa inyo ay 40 or 45 minutes, that's where kukuha ka ng dalawang main points. So, yung first 20 minutes mo ay para sa unang main point mo, yung susunod na 20 minutes mo ay para sa susunod na main point mo. And then the extras would be distributed to your intro and then your outro or sa conclusion mo. And sabi ko nga kanina, si intro at saka si conclusion mo, at least mga tig 5 minutes lang yan. So halimbawa, 20 minutes lang ang naibigay sa'yo, yung 5 minutes mo intro, yung 5 minutes mo conclusion, so ang natira na lang sa'yo, 10 minutes. So you use that 10 minutes to get the main point or to tell your main point. Pero kung 40 to 45 minutes naman yan, halimbawa 45 minutes, yung 5 minutes doon ay pang intro mo, yung 5 minutes doon ay pang conclusion mo. So that leaves you with 35 minutes. So yung 35 minutes, hatiin mo sa dalawang main point mo para ma-maximize natin yung time. Kasi ang problema natin dito at times, no, may mga speakers na natatakot na halimbawa masyadong maikli yung time, baka hindi nila masabi ang gusto nilang masabi, or masyadong mahaba naman yung time. Anong sasabihin ko dito? 'Di ba? Halo-halo na yung nasasabi ko kasi ang haba-haba ng time. Kaya nga, paghandaan mo, you need to know your time para alam mo ilang main points ang sasabihin mo. So tandaan po yung mga tips na yan na ibinigay sa TED Talks natin and sa mga excellent na mga public speakers. So again, at least mga 20 minutes na time for talk ang paghahandaan natin. And then next, another tip, make your talk more memorable. So meaning you inject information na relevant to your audience or give them something na hindi nila makakalimutan, and that is on emotion. Kung gusto mong maging kung gusto mong maalala ka talaga nila, atakihin mo yung emosyon nila. Because sabi nga nila, 'di ba? People will forget your name or people will forget what you did to them, but people will not forget how you made them feel. So kung gusto mong maalala ka ng tao, markahan mo yung emosyon nila. Paligayahin mo sila, paiyakin mo sila, you make them fall in love, diba? So that they will not forget you. And last, number 4 na tip natin, watch for feedback coming from your audience and then you learn how to adapt to it. So, especially no kapag ka face-to-face. Pag face-to-face yung talk natin, no problem. Kasi you can interact actually with your audience. So, you can see if naantok na yung audience mo. You can see if yung audience mo wala na bang interest kasi iba na yung itsura nila, nagchichismisan na lang sila, maraming biglang umiihi, sabay-sabay umiihi. Ibig sabihin, wala na kasi silang interest sa sinasabi mo. So, what do you do? get their attention back, diba? So how will you do that? How will you get their attention back? Engage your audience. So you ask questions, you bring out polls, diba? Mag-ask ka ng mga survey, ganyan. Or magpakita ka bigla ng video sa presentation mo, maghanda ka bigla ng isang video, or maglabas ka ng mga props mo, ganyan. So those are the ways on how we can actually get the attention back of your audience. So this is very important. Kaya be careful sa expressions, be careful sa gestures ng audience mo kasi kailangan mag-adapt tayo sa kanila. Kasi kung wala tayong pakialam sa expressions nila or sa gestures nila, hindi magiging effective yung ating speech. Kasi 'di ba, wala na nga silang interest, tuloy-tuloy ka pa din. Wala na ngang nakikinig sa iyo pero sinasabi mo pa rin yung gusto mong sabihin, wala lang din, 'di ba? So make sure na you know how to read your audience. So that's the last tip na I can give you so that you can improve your skills on becoming a good public speaker. So let me end my discussion with this saying. So good communication is never perfect. That's why we need to revise whatever it is na na-prepare natin. And nobody expects you to be perfect. So wag kang mag-alala kung ang speech mo ay hindi perfect kasi it's impossible naman really to create something na perfect. So ang isipin mo na lang dito ay na ipahatid mo ang mensahe na gusto mong sabihin sa audience or sa inyong mga tagapakinig. And with that, again, I'm Vanessa Joy Gasat, and it's an opportunity, it's my privilege to be with you today and share something that I know about public speaking. So thank you so much, everyone, and back to you, Ma'am Sarah.
Hello po again. Thank you very much po, Ma'am Vanessa. And talaga, I'm sure everyone will agree na punong-puno ng content ang ating mga speakers, 'di ba? Ayan, ginalingan talaga, and very lucky talaga tayo. And since this webinar is free, talagang yung content hindi talaga tinipid, kumbaga, no? From the bottom of our hearts, we would like to give our sincere gratitude sa ating, of course, kay Sir Carl Balita, for spearheading this initiative, and also to our speakers for all the knowledge and skills and strategies na ibinahagi nila sa atin. Now, narinig na po natin ang ating mga speakers. This time, we shall now be giving our audience a chance to speak. Ayan na, since this is public speaking, let's hear your thoughts and reactions sa ating naging training. Let's start po with Sir Val de la Trinidad from Baguio. Ayan. Hi po, Sir Val. Ayan, dito pa si Sir Val. Pati mukhang nawala si Sir Val. Any other people po would like to say something about our training? Pwede po kayong mag-mute. Pwede po kayong mag-unmute or pwede, ayun, nandito pala si Sir si Sir Val. Okay po. Wait lang po, Sir, ha. Ipa-ano natin. Si Sir. Ayan, alright.
Okay. Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for this initiative, especially to Dr. Carl Balita for, initiating this free seminar or webinar rather for public speaking. Okay. And especially to all of our speakers for today, we have Dr. Virgo Lopez and also Ma'am Vanessa Gawat. Okay. Agasat rather. So thank you so much po because your speeches and your delivery of content napaka-importante po talaga, especially in these times, no, na we are still in pandemic, na kahit papaano you are making a way na maging meaningful pa din yung araw-araw natin, no? Kasi itong webinar or seminar na ito, hindi naman po lahat is nabibigyan ng pagkakataon. Okay? But anyways, my purpose here is to provide my reaction about the entire flow of the webinar. So first is, what caught me here is that the power of words. Okay? Alam ko naman po, ma'am, na yung words na sinasabi natin is very powerful. And I believe that whatever is in your heart, it is being shown and it is being reflected through the words that we say. Right? So, for me as a teacher, okay, communication or speaking is a very important thing that we have, that I have, okay? Because it's a way of expressing my thoughts, my experiences, my ideas and feelings, okay? And it is really true that you should know your audience because not all could understand you, not all can grasp what you want to say or convey to them at the end of the day. Kaya it's very important po talaga na kinakailangan kilala natin yung audience natin. Parang ako po, okay? I am actually a lecturer of Carl Ibalita Review Center. I just passed the board examination, okay, last September 26, 2021. And then yung opportunity na binigay sa akin ni Dr. Carl at ng CBRC family is napakaganda. Kaya I still opted to attend this seminar or webinar kasi I know now nauuhaw pa rin po ako sa kaalaman in terms of public speaking. Because definitely I still have fear, I still have doubt, and I still have that, yung feeling po na parang may naghihinder sa akin or yung fear ko na harapin ang mga estudyante ko. Kasi, minsan tumataas yung anxiety ko lalo na kapag hindi pa ako prepared. Kaya tama po na sinabi kanina na you should prepare yourselves, okay, or yourself, okay, if you're pertaining to yourself lang po, no, na dapat you give your best na maibigay kung ano yung gusto mong iparating. Kasi ang public speaking, it is nothing if there's no opportunity. Tama po ba? Kaya dapat kapag binigyan tayo ng opportunity to talk, to speak, to express ourselves, dapat na-organize po yan. Paano po natin siya organize? First, there should be an objective. Ito po, sinasabi ko ito based on how I see with the presentations of our speakers, no? So dapat meron po tayong objective. Ano ba yung gusto nating iparating? Ano po ba yung gusto nating sabihin? Okay? Para po guided yung mga taong makikinig sa atin. All right? And then after that, it enters now what we call the preparation, or the presentation rather. When we say presentation, parang dalawa po yan eh. First is the content, which is parang sinasabi ni Dr. Virgo kanina, yung sa matter. Dapat may substance kung ano yung sasabihin mo po. And the next siguro something that I could add is that the art of dialogue or the art or the technique that you as you say or as you deliver kung ano po yung gusto yung sabihin. Okay? And lastly, there should be a strong closing statement para po makatch talaga yung mga audience po ninyo in terms of their emotional aspect, in terms of their intellectual, okay, and social, para po maging holistic at saka maging meaningfully po yung naging yung encounter, especially pag nag-conduct na po tayo ng public speaking or magdi-deliver na tayo ng speeches. Okay? Kaya naman po sa ating mga tagapakinig at nanood ngayon, sana hindi po dito mag-i-stop yung natutuhan natin kasi magiging useless din po pag hindi natin to gagamitin sa ating pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Okay? Kaya naman po, I'm highly encouraging everyone na do it, practice it, kasi sabi nga po, practice makes perfect. If you still have doubt or fear sa pagsasalita in public, then now it is the perfect time to change and revive yourselves to become the best version of yourself po. So yun lamang po ang masasabi ko sa reaction. Thank you so much po ulit sa opportunity na ito. At sana po yung natutuhan natin, i-share din natin sa iba. So yun lang po, Ma'am Sarah. Thank you po.
Thank you very much po, Sir Val, sa inyong mga insights and reaction. Now, meron po nagtatanong dito. Ayan, kung magkaka-certificate ba? Siyempre naman, sa lahat ng mga webinars, yan ang pinaka-inaabangan. So, while I'm waiting for another person to give his or her reaction, may I just announce na aside from this webinar being free, we will be also giving away certificates of participation. Syempre na nandito naman talaga kayo. And of course, for free po yan. Ganyan kami magmahal, especially ganyan magmahal si Dr. Carl. So for you to claim your certificate, just complete the evaluation form that will be sent here sa chat box. Sir JR, baka po pwede nating mai-send po yung link para masagutan po nila dyan. Also, part of your evaluation form, nandun din po ang inyong workshop output. Ayan. Explain ko lang po kung ano ba yung workshop output na yon para po malaman namin if you really learned from our discussion. Siyempre, maraming tips, maraming strategies ang binanggit ni Ma'am Vanessa and also ni Sir Virgo. Ngayon, ia-apply natin yung sinasabi nga ni Sir Val kanina na dapat ginagamit natin. So, there is, at the end of your evaluation form, there is a question there and doon niyo po isasubmit ang inyong output. Okay, it's a 1-minute video. Merong tanong doon specifically and then you will just have to express your thoughts through your speech. Okay, link lang po yung bibigay ninyo. Nandun na po yung details and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask any one of us. Pwedeng sa akin po, Ms. Sara Alcoreza, pwedeng sa CBRC or sa Carl Balita, public figure. Yung post po kung saan nyo nakita itong training na ito. Yan, pwede nyo pong balikan and pwede po kayong mag-ask doon. Okay, according to Ma'am Jana, may we know po what will be the question so we can prepare before filling out the form. Ay, nasa dulo siya actually. Ang ating question po is, why do you think, and this is a form of argumentative question, why do you think Dr. Carl Balita deserves to be in the Senate? Okay, so ayan. Again, you will just have to fill out the form and then as you fill out, makikita po namin yung responses and then doon po namin ini-issue ang inyong, i-email po namin ang inyong certificate. Ayan. Alright, so this week po, or this coming week from April 1 up to April 8, hihintayin po namin ang lahat ng inyong responses so that we could issue you your certificate. Alright, may question pa po ba? Or any reaction po sa ating training? Ayun, thank you so much, ma'am, and to all our speakers. Thank you, CBRC family. Wow, Tatak Aguila din. Alright, kung wala na po tayong, ano po yung institution sa form? When we say institution, this is yung inyong workplace or yung company or yung name of school na you are affiliated with. Okay po? Ayun. Alright. Are there any more question? Kung wala po, please i-click nyo na po yung link na yan para ma-direct na po kayo agad so that you can secure your certificate. Kasi nga bilang teacher, di ba, kailangan din natin yung mga yan. Again, the deadline po is until April 8 and then afterwards, i-close na po namin yung pag-accept ng responses. Yes po, isang link lang po yan. Yan. CBRC Evaluation e-cert. Yun po yung pangalan yan. Okay? Sige po, thank you very much po. And yes, thank you very much din po to our dear discussants today. Ayan, tonight na pala, 6 o'clock na. I'm sure na everyone in Zoom agreed na talagang naging fruitful and productive ang araw natin ngayon, di ba? Ayan, thank you very much po. Until the next virtual event, this has been Ms. Sara Alcoreza. Wishing you the best in your future endeavors. Mabuhay po kayo!
Thank you po. Bye-bye.